Hello everybody. I tried to do an earlier live and then I dropped the phone, so I just decided to start over. How are you guys doing today? It is Wednesday. It is, what is today's date? Let's see. Wednesday, March 14th. So we have 3 days until the new moon in Pisces, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the energy of Pisces, what Pisces is all about, and how to kind of set the tone or understand how to set intention for this new moon in Pisces, along with other transits, which just mean what else is happening in the sky. Transits are what's currently going on in the sky and how it's lining up with other planets. And so let's start with Pisces season and what Pisces season is all about. Pisces is a water sign. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It is the end of the zodiac year, and it is a mutable sign, which means changing. It changes form. People who have a sun sign in Pisces, now depending on what their moon and everything else, if they have a ton of other fixed energy, they won't be as much like this. But if they have a lot of Pisces in their chart, or a lot of mutable energy in their chart, they're going to be it's much harder to make a decision. It's much harder to know exactly what you want, because you can change a little bit and you can still be happy, and you might be okay with going out to dinner wherever, and it's okay for you. So, and Pisces is just very much the collective, and this is also why we say that Pisces people in general just are it's kind of like they have this flipped lid to the collective consciousness, for better or worse. And so a lot of Pisces people, or if you have a lot of Pisces in your chart, or if you have a lot of planets in the 12th house, you might need to work with this energy more and figure out ways to cope, right? When we have a new moon in Pisces, and at the tail end of the two fishes and swimming in opposite directions, which is the representation of, that is hilarious. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm hitting all sorts of buttons because I am not where I want to be. I don't have my typical setup that I usually have. So, hi Meredith, how are you doing? Good to see you on here. Okay, so let's see. So Pisces new moon. So the main fact is it's helpful to know where Pisces is in your particular chart. If you've had a reading with me or another astrologer in the past, you probably have a picture of your chart. If not, you can get one for free on lots of different ways. Just Google free natal birth chart. It's helpful to get one that has it really written out for you, the numbers of the houses and all that. Okay, so Pisces, depth, consciousness. It's like subconscious mind, but also the unconscious that we have to work through. So a lot of times you might be crying or you might be upset, and at some point you realize this isn't even my thing. Like, why am I upset about this? And it's likely that you've just picked it up from somebody else. I'm going to try to adjust because my hand is getting tired. I need one of those selfie sticks, guys. So yeah, that's Pisces. And the beautiful things about Pisces are compassion, and the healing qualities come out in people to have compassion for others, to maybe new aspects of your work or your parenting or your kind of insight into things. Things come to the surface, and for better or worse, but always for healing. And so this is Pisces season. And thankfully, again, we are at the tail end because there's a lot of confusion energy out there. We also have, at this new moon, we'll have a square, which a square is just a challenge point in the chart. We have a challenge with Mars in Sagittarius, and Mars in Sagittarius is another mutable sign. So there's just too many choices, too many things to move forward on, and hard to pick one thing to focus on. So for the rest of this week, know that it is completely normal and okay if you're having a hard time focusing. And what you can focus on is self-care, drinking enough water. Sorry, things are coming through my phone. Self-care, drinking enough water, meditation, tuning into your spirit guides, whatever you want to call them, and maybe journaling a little bit. This is what this time is for. It's not really a time to move a bunch of stuff forward. We are going to get that push once the sun enters Aries, which is literally only 2 days after this new moon. And a couple hours after this new moon, we have Mars moving into Capricorn, which is going to help us move forward as well. So right now is the process time. It's the last little bits of aha moments, last little bits of processing things out. It's a great time to get healing work. It's a great time to get metaphysical healing. I offer distance intuitive healing sessions. There's so many beautiful practitioners out there that do Reiki and all sorts of other healing modalities, but this is a great time to utilize those people in your community so that you can really move forward when spring comes. The one thing I am offering astrological-wise is a transit reading for the next 12 months. It's the start of, like, there's so many new years that I pay attention to. I'm like, the new year, the Chinese new year, the astrological new year. And this one for me is like the biggest one because I'm like, oh, okay, fresh start. Aries is all about fresh starts. And so this is a really big one. And so I do a transit reading. It's $95. We sit down together and we look at your chart for the next year, giving you insight and ideas and guidance around where to move forward, where to move forward in your life, where to maybe conserve, and all those kind of things, okay? So the Pisces New Moon is a Saturday. Set intention. I recommend setting intention on Friday, utilizing water, maybe just drinking more water, but also if you can take a bath or soak or do some kind of like water type honoring, maybe even have a bowl of water out and just, utilizing essential oils or something, just some kind of like representation of honoring not only just water as water, but water is the containment of emotions and the celebration of emotions, because that is something that's not done enough in our culture, and it is, really feeling things. And I had a post on my Instagram that my daughter did this beautiful drawing, and it was basically like, it's okay to feel things. It's actually should be celebrated to feel things, because what is the opposite of that? It's just numbness. Who wants that, So just honor your feelings, honor your emotions if they're coming up right now. And, so there's that square to Mars. There's another interesting thing. Chiron is getting lit up. So it's conjunct, which just means it's right next to, within 10 degrees of this new moon. And so you want to look to where Pisces is in your chart. And it's also going to let you know where this kind of wounded Chiron is the wounded healer, where the wounded healer is moving through your chart. And so with that conjunct and being lit up with this challenge to Mars as well, that it can really bring up areas where you thought you got past something, but you're kind of spiraling back and spiraling in a beautiful way. Maybe it's not as big or as emotional, but it's still there. And just allow yourself, even if you think, oh, I'm so done with that, or here I am again. I thought I had finished my processing my grief or my sadness or my inner child work, Chiron will bring up that inner child again and again and again and again. And it's not in a bad way. It's in a way to help you have more compassion for others. It's in to help you have more healing capacity for others and for yourself, because ultimately that's what we're here for. So there's that happening. And then there was one other thing that I just wanted to share with you. Oh, Jupiter. Jupiter in Scorpio has been since October, will be for the next till fall. I forget if it's November, I think. But in Scorpio, and Jupiter just went retrograde. I have a video on that on this profile, but also on my YouTube, and you can check that out. But it's trining, which means it's making a beautiful aspect to this new moon. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't bring up its own challenges, and typically they're around emotions. They're around places where you felt like things were taboo or too out there or too much, like where you felt like maybe your emotions were too much, where you felt like maybe if I want this in my relationship, it's too much. So there's a lot having to do with like our own sensuality and sexuality, but also just like our own feelings, like our emotions are too much, or what we have to offer isn't good enough, or maybe we're too much, or whatever it is. That's all coming up at this new moon too. So yay. If you guys aren't already on my mailing list, I'm doing my cosmic workbook for Aries season, which is going to be super helpful for really tuning in and mastering this Aries season. So make sure you're on my newsletter. I'll post a link in the comments. And that should help a little bit with some of these big emotions that are coming up. And I think that that's all I really wanted to talk about. I know that I wanted to share also that I'm doing a 5-week training program that's going to help you tune into your intuition and tune into your own capacity for living your soul's purpose. So having more success in your life and having more integrity with what you do, but also alignment. And that's a 5-week program. If you're interested in that at all, you can set up a free call with me to talk about it, or you can just register on my website. I'll post a link here for that as well. But basically what I've heard back from people is that when you work with me over time, or anybody over time, you're gonna really, that's where the magic is. That's where it settles into your bones, and you can really take autonomy and you can take it on as your own work, because you're having that constant weekly, okay, we're going to settle back in, we're going to practice the same thing, we're going to do the same thing, and then we're going to add this other thing to it, and it really brings mastery to your life and to your alignment for your soul's purpose. So if you have any interest in all in studying with me, definitely let me know, and I hope that you guys have a beautiful week. I was going to do a